This is a brief video review of the Lenovo Thinkpad 13 2nd Gen laptop. This particular version of the laptop sports an Intel Core i3-7100U CPU at 2 cores, 4 threads. At the moment I have 8 GB of 2133 MHz DDR4 RAM, and there is also a Samsung 256 GB M.2 SSD. And for the integrated graphics, we have Intel HD 620. Other features are the Intel dual band wireless AC 8265 Wi-Fi card with Bluetooth 4.0. So we do not have a backlit keyboard option on this version. However, I do believe that it did ship with one. And we do have the chiclet style keys, which I don't mind at all. Of course, the characteristic red track point. And the touchpad is actually nice, it's quite intuitive. This is a brand new one that I replaced. And we have the 3 buttons, which I do quite enjoy. So this has the 1366 by 768 HD display, 13.3 inches. However, you can get a 1920 by 1080 HD full HD version, which would be nice, but honestly, this is quite the budget laptop, and I would be happy enough with the lesser display. For the webcam, you have your basic 720p resolution. Yeah, is what it is. Despite the other very budget features of this laptop, I have to say that the case is very durable. This one in particular is aluminum, and I think it could take a fall or two and still be totally fine. Here on the right I/O we have a 4-in-1 SD card reader, microphone and headphone input, USB 3.1, 2 ports, an HDMI display port, USB Type-C, the Kensington lock. On the left I/O we have the plug for the power adapter, the Lenovo OneLink connector, which will provide connection to a dock that looks similar to this. This one actually connects via USB 3.0 and I had it connected to my T540p, but it now resides on my workstation PC and provides some extra USB ports and actually an extra display if I wanted it. Outside of that, we have a USB 3.0 always on to charge your cell phone and stuff like that. There's the air outtake for the CPU fan. On the bottom case we have lots of ventilation for passive air cooling and for air intake, and 2 little speakers right here and right here, which are actually not too bad. I'll show in a moment. This thing has been scratched up a little bit, but again is quite durable. So though we are dealing with the lower end of CPUs of the 7th generation Intel, combined with the at least 8 GB of RAM and the M.2 SSD, the responsiveness is quite snappy. For general web browsing, office work, and YouTube videos, you're totally in the clear. This will work really well, and honestly the speakers aren't that bad. Of course, if the stock speakers aren't your speed and you want to watch movies or whatever, listen to music, you could always use a Bluetooth speaker. Also, if video editing or photo editing is your thing, I should note that for what I do everything in 1080p due to the limitations on my camera. For the editing software that I use, you could totally use this laptop with ease. It's no problem. You might want to look at upgrading for something a little bit more intensive though. So I have my gaming SSD used for testing, and that is hooked up to the USB 3.0 port on the laptop, and I have a whole bunch of Steam games installed. And so let's see how this thing performs. First up we have Left 4 Dead 2. So we have a mixture of medium to high graphics settings, and we set the resolution to the native 1366 by 768 display, going full screen, windowed, and let's see what kind of frames per second we can get. Alright, so here in the safe house we're averaging around mid 30s to mid 40s frames per second. Let's see what happens when we open the door. Okay, we're hovering around 30 frames per second. we're seeing an average of frames per second in the 30s, and for me, that's totally acceptable for playing this game all the way through. Yeah, let's consider this one a win. I have Tomb Raider 2013 loaded up, and I kept the graphics settings low, and we're going to keep it at the 1366 by 768 resolution, and we'll see if we have to change that or not. Alright, so my goal for this is just to average around 30 frames per second, and remember, this is gaming on a pretty big budget with this i3 CPU. Let's just see how it goes. So if I'm able to make it to this point in the level without gameplay skipping too much and stuttering, which it didn't, even though the frames per second did drop pretty low. Alright, so I further adjusted the resolution to 1280 by 600 just to accommodate for everything that's going on screen here. And for a well-optimized game like this, I don't think you really need to reach a high frames per second point to still play the game and have an enjoyable experience. I'm going to mark off Tomb Raider 2013 as playable under certain conditions and with the necessary graphics adjustments. Alright, so with Tomb Raider, we're kind of pushing the limits on this i3 CPU and Intel HD 620 GPU. I think it's better to showcase the variety of games that you can play flawlessly, like Star Wars Dark Forces. So yes, this is not a gaming laptop, however, you can of course play a variety of older games with ease, and this game's awesome. You can play something like Half-Life, right? All is not lost if you're still wanting to game on a budget. There are plenty of games that you can play, and there's plenty of games in my Steam library that I never play but could play on the ThinkPad 13. As a bonus, we'll take a quick look inside the laptop and go over the upgradable features. All you need is a Phillips head screwdriver. Something like a plastic guitar pick will work well to score the palm rest and remove the back panel. So here is the battery, easily replaceable, and if you were to service the machine, here is the connection to the motherboard right here that you can disconnect. The CPU fan and heatsink is quite standard for ThinkPads of this generation. And we have two DIMM slots. Right now I just have the single channel 8GB DDR4 stick installed because that's just what I have at the moment. However, something up to 16GB would be really nice, or at least dual channel 8GB. Here's the M.2 SSD slot, and as verified by me, you can install an NVMe SSD as well. Here's the Wi-Fi card, CMOS battery, and that's pretty much the basics. It's very easy to replace the thermal paste just by removing these 4 screws, should you want to increase the thermal performance, or if you think it is necessary, which most of the time it is if you like to tinker. So would I recommend this laptop for use in 2023 and onward? I would, if you're just looking for light work, light use, and you want something that's thin, small, light, durable. This ThinkPad is a solid budget choice, especially when you look at the prices of something like a more modern notebook, which will only last maybe one generation. This thing will overpower that and last a little bit longer, and although there's no touch features, I would say it would rival the Microsoft Surface Pro laptop, especially for the cost effectiveness. So hopefully this short review helped you out, and if you're using this laptop in 2023, let me know, and if you feel I missed something important, let me know that too. But overall, hopefully this helps you make your budget choice for your laptop purchases in the modern age. Thanks a lot for watching, and have a nice day.